Joy explodes on the main boulevard in Tunis, proud of their still budding democracy. Thousands of Said's supporters celebrating the man who they say can keep alive the spirit of the 2011 revolution.
Young people showed they can use their vote to change the system. Several political parties gave a lot of money to win this presidency, but the people and the young ones who were a part of the revolution in 2011 did it again. A new revolution this time, with a ballot.
Kais Saied is a low-profile conservative law professor. He campaigned for radical decentralization and pledged to build a democracy that all Tunisians, including the youth, can have a say in.
We will face up to all the challenges with our blood, our sweat and our willpower, especially the economic and the social ones, because the Tunisian people expect solutions in this respect.
But he will have to work with a parliament where no party has a clear majority. His supporters, though, are hopeful that the independent outsider can convince and succeed.
Let's talk about this more now with DW's Aya Ibrahim in the studio with me this morning. Good morning, Aya. Nice to see you again. You know, we're looking at some interesting polls that show 90% of 18 to 25-year-olds voted for Saied. What's his appeal with young voters?
I think it's because he's not a politician. I think young people have had enough of traditional Tunisian politicians, and Kais is exactly the opposite of that. He's a law professor. People say that he's a newcomer to politics. It's true that he's not a career politician, but he's been on the scene for quite some time as a constitutional law analyst. He appears in the media quite regularly. He was also involved in the drafting of the 2014 Constitution. He's also, really portrayed himself as someone who's not seeking power. We can see this in the way that he has run this campaign, a very, very Spartan campaign, if you will. Not a lot of advertising, hasn't relied so much on external funding. He notably did not do any campaigning in the second phase of the election because his opponent was in prison. And, as a constitutional law professor, he knew full well that, should he win, his opponent could then appeal it, saying that he himself wasn't able to campaign. And as such, he refrained from campaigning, and still he won this landslide. I think this anti-corruption spirit that he has really appeals to young voters who've had enough of established politicians.
And knowing the constitutional ins and outs, as being one of the fathers of the 2014 Constitution, of course, will help him with the divided parliament we're looking at right now. No party has a majority. Can he get his goals, his priorities through with a divided parliament?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we have to really understand the role of the president in Tunisia's governance. The president, unlike the president's role before the Arab Spring, he has limited powers. His powers are limited to foreign policy and defense. The parliament is really the one that has a lot of power to approve laws. However, the president does have sort of some influence to set the tone of the government. Most notably, the last president was the one who proposed that Tunisia consider an equal inheritance law. He had no power to approve it, but he could initiate it, and then it would go into parliament. So he
definitely equal inheritance law for women and men.
For men and women, most notably, and that was met with a lot of resistance. But the president had the power to sort of initiate that debate. So he does have power to initiate the debate, but, it is still limited. But I think, he is an independent. And with this parliament really being uncharted territory for the Arab world with so many independents, maybe this new spirit will inspire some sort of unprecedented cooperation. This election has definitely been a surprise on so many levels, and that means maybe the government will be as well.
Okay, well, hopefully there's more pleasant surprises ahead. We'll be following this very closely. Aya, thanks for that.